All right, welcome to the Night's Watch. I'm Jacob.
I'm Alex.
And damn, dude.
Rough.
Yeah, that trip sucked.
Yeah, we watching Peter Mrazek miraculously somehow stop all 17 shots. They're all kind of dog shit.
We really challenged him out.
We really did. We're recording after
shots.
recording after the Detroit game. Clearly a shutout, 0-3, and then coming off of yesterday against Buffalo, losing in a shootout in a game that we had won.
A game that we fucking threw
away. And I get what Hurdle was doing. Totally get what he wanted to do, but just finish the game.
Yeah.
Finish the game.
I get it, but don't do that.
Yeah, finish the game. I get that you want Eichel to have the last laugh in Buffalo, but like you had a wide open net. It was empty. It would have been 4-2. It would have been over. That game would have been done. Against the Penguins, it was kind of like a lot like this game, but we actually scored on Jari, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we lost in overtime. And then Columbus was the one really great game of the entire week.
Yeah,
like,
if it wasn't for that, I think there would be a lot of. Wasn't for that, there would be a lot of panic right now.
Yeah,
I think.
we they looked really good against Columbus, and I think you can't put like all of your I don't know. Like you can't put all of your issues. Obviously, we've had issues in these games that we've lost, and then other than this one, they're all you had a point, right? Other than against Detroit, you got a point against the Sabres and against the Penguins. You should have two.
Mm-hmm.
But with Columbus, Hill had a great game. That was after having a massive stinker.
Yeah.
Against LA, and Columbus was, I think, one of the only teams to never be shut out at home.
Yes.
And there was another stat, I think, like they were like the highest scoring home team in the first period, like something. They were just crazily good at home, and
yeah, and I think they only lost like 3 or 4 games at home or something.
Yeah, they're so good at home, and if there is like a bright spot in the shit week, it's shutting down a team that's that high flying of an offense, right?
Yeah.
But of course, you lose to Pittsburgh, which they don't fly anywhere. They're almost in the ground and
flightless birds.
and
hey, as I saw, on the internet after they beat us, they're like, "Well, don't look now, but Pittsburgh's only 4 points out of a playoff spot."
They beat somebody else too right after. I think
Pittsburgh.
They beat New Jersey, but New Jersey's on a fucking downswing. And then Buffalo, that was just us giving away the game.
So, full disclosure, I didn't watch the game because I was at the St. Patrick's Day parade. Because why was that game at fucking 9:30
in the morning? Even 12:30 in Buffalo, that's still fucking too early.
Yeah. But anyways, so I really only caught the highlights and
the low lights.
Yeah, the low lights, and read the analysis, and it just seemed to me like it was a game that they just did not take seriously at all.
I mean,
and did you see? I really liked Cassidy's quote afterwards.
Oh, he was pissed. Yeah.
Well, he had a lot of good quotes. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring him up right now.
Let's read him off.
I'll bring him up right now. So when asked what lost the game, he just said, "Total lack of respect. Probably most of the night, but the way it ended sums that up." So as in, yeah, that trying to give Eichel the empty netter just to give a middle finger to the audience, probably not the way to go.
No.
And I did see a lot of other VGK accounts. I don't know. They were going back to the like, well, fuck you, Eichel's won a cup. You're just jealous. Blah blah blah. I'm like, guys, we just got to take this L because frankly we deserve it. We deserve to get clowned on for that one.
Yeah, we lost the game. Yeah, did Eichel score? Great, but we lost the game and could have just put it away. Just put it away.
Yeah.
Would have been over.
And then he also said, "I'd like to see him." I'm guessing someone asked him, "What would you like to see?" And he said, "Well, I'd like to see him shoot the puck in the net and end the game. I think the whole team would like to see that." And then he also referenced the dumb penalties they took. So the penalties we took: a not under pressure delay of game, offensive zone penalty again, 3 games in a row by the same player, which was Dorofeo.
Yep. And then Howden took one today.
Yep.
Like very first.
In the first 5 minutes.
5 minutes of the game, took one. Where are they recording this Miko Rantanen at in a fucking
I know,
wind turbine?
I was going to say, with his hair blowing gently in the breeze.
But yeah, it's just been not good enough, right? For how good they were playing before the road trip, it's just not a good enough, play. Because I mean,
And I feel like people are zeroing in on certain players, but to me, it's like the whole team. Like they look flat.
Yeah,
I don't want to say they're not trying, but they're
not executing
Yeah.
as well as they could be.
Sloppy.
Yeah.
Lazy. Pick a word.
Yeah, I mean that the second
Bad
goal.
puck management.
Yeah, the second goal against Buffalo yesterday. I know you didn't watch it. I'm sure you saw this though. But
the Petrangelo giveaway.
Yeah, where he just
that was
didn't.
brutal.
He barely looked over his shoulder, and he just passed it backwards straight to Jason Zucker, and Zucker just put it right over Hill. Like, what was Hill supposed to do in that situation? It's a wide open wrist shot from Buffalo's leading goal scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, the fortunate part is, well, LA is gaining steam.
Yeah, LA. Yeah, they won 5 in a row. They passed up Edmonton.
Yeah, but Edmonton's been kind of like us, right? Good and bad, back and forth, winning games, losing games, like inconsistent. So like at least one of the
they're 5 points back from us right now.
yeah, one of the LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they both play today, I think, right? Edmonton and LA, or just Edmonton?
Edmonton does.
Yeah, they play later against the Rangers.
I don't think LA does.
Okay, so we'll be okay for now. But how many games do both those teams play in between now and Thursday, right? Like, what if LA plays Monday, Wednesday, and that's 4 points that we're just sitting there, and now they're a point behind us?
Well, and that's the thing, because LA has 2 games in hand on us. Edmonton has a game in hand. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to win those games, but at the rate that we're throwing games away to bad teams, it's not an insurmountable gap by any means.
No, it's very close. It's not like the gap between the Jets and Dallas and Colorado, right? That's just too big. Like you're not catching the Jets. No one's going to catch the Capitals, right? Whereas the Pacific is very tight. Like we can be caught. We could be easily in second or third place come a week from now because how tight it is. You have to be aware of the teams coming up behind you, and then luckily for us, we should be squarely in that top 3 because Minnesota's been so bad, and they're quickly falling down. Like they're wild card 1 right now, I think, right? But the way they've been playing, I think Vancouver's only 5 or 6 points behind them for wild card 1, and that's insane because Vancouver's been bad.
Yes.
Like that.
Well, I feel like Minnesota's been bad too. They had a really good start, and then like I said,
injuries and having no money.
Yeah, that took its toll.
I mean, yeah, but it's still tight. Like you can't just
I think their big deadline ad was Justin Barzo.
No, it was Gustav Nyquist, sir.
Oh yeah,
God, fucking reach.
Yeah, 39-year-old Gustav Nyquist.
Wow, he's gonna bring so much scoring to your lineup that you're playing against all these tough Central teams. But no, there's a lot of teams just sneaking up. Not sneaking up. They're right there.
Yeah.
We're acting like we have a 10-point lead on LA and Edmonton. Like we're like fucking Winnipeg or something.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
We don't. Sure, is our standing right now, if we finish Pacific 1, we'll get we would get Minnesota. That's not a bad matchup for us.
I would gladly take any of those wild card teams.
Yeah.
Rather than be stuck with LA or Edmonton.
That'd be a very difficult matchup, right? You want one of those teams. You want those 2 teams to go through each other. Just like how we want Colorado and Dallas to go through each other, right? You want to get a tough team out early. We don't have enough of a cushion to play shit like this. And people will say, well, Detroit and Buffalo, they want to prove something and be good. I'm like, okay, that's fine. They can do that, but by all standards and play, we're a better team than all of the teams we played this week.
I mean, I'll just say it again because it bears keeping in mind. Detroit has an awful fucking D-core.
Yeah.
And they had Peter Mrazek in net, and all we did was generate 17 Haven't seen the high danger chances. I'm going to guess it was less than 3.
Yeah.
And
he made timely saves when he needed to, but like we weren't collecting we weren't there for rebounds. He had
so many, but everything was coming off him.
Yeah, he was bouncing off in so many chances to beat just the second shot, the third shot, and we didn't have any of those. It was a single shot, and there goes the play.
The best shot we had was the one where Mark Stone rang a slap shot off his nuts.
Yeah,
and it still didn't go in.
Ended Peter Mrazek's bloodline on that one. But yeah, like it just was a bad game, and then kind of the same thing against Buffalo, right? We lost in a shootout, but we didn't make UPL work that much. Like we let 3 in because there were good shots and good plays, but we could have had more than 3 on UPL if like we followed up shots. Same with against Pittsburgh too. Like we should have been shelling Jari, didn't we? Didn't they have like 30 something shots on goal and we had like less than 20 against Pittsburgh, something like that?
Yeah. Well, this has kind of been part of a bigger issue that I've been wanting to talk about that I feel like people aren't really addressing. But the complete lack of 5-on-5 offense.
Yeah.
Scoring and just generating offense in general is really becoming an issue, like a real issue, like a fatal flaw in the playoffs type issue.
Yeah, because you can't depend on
power play's been great. 6-on-5 has been great,
but I mean, look at Edmonton last year. I know obviously they went to the final, right? But they had to find a different way to score 5-on-5. But yeah, were they the number 1 power play was that last year? They're the number 1 power play in the league. Or was that 2 years ago?
I think that was 2 years ago when we faced them.
Exactly. So there you go. So 2 years ago when they were number 1 power play in the league, they got eliminated in the second round.
Well, yeah, and that was the whole storyline of that series was that we were better 5-on-5 than they were.
Yeah, and you can't depend on power plays, and maybe you'll have good numbers in the season, but you actually have to score 5-on-5. You have to show up 5-on-5.
I could 100% see a world where, like in the first or second round, we face LA and. We
just smother us. Yeah,
exactly. Where we score some big power play goals to get it to game 6 or 7, but all in all, 5v5 we won't generate anything, and then that'll be the storyline and the talking point. Like, well, it's kind of an upset. You expected Vegas to win, but LA just Vegas just couldn't get anything going 5-on-5. And,
you
hate to see it because that's supposed to be our strength, and it's turned into our weakness. In a cruel twist of fate. How do you fix this? I don't know. I think for a fact Theodore will really be a big boost.
Oh, for sure.
Just the way that he can, walk the line and create plays.
But that's also not saying that that Hannafin's been really good too.
He has.
But
he's just one guy.
Yeah, exactly. Because Pietrangelo clearly is not the same. I think the injury that he's got is worse than they're saying it was, or anybody thinks it is. He hasn't looked. I mean, yeah, he's 34 and that's old for a hockey player. Hasn't looked as good this season, but he's also looked a touch slower. And
well, he started the season looking like the best that he's ever looked. I was like, damn, this dude's about to have like a career year.
Yeah, and as it went on, it's just been
whatever that. It sounds like I'm finding excuses, but I truly believe he has some kind of injury, and it's
finally taking its toll. I mean, I really thought they were gonna maybe not like make a play for like a middle pairing defenseman just for help, right?
Yeah.
But again, we still have Ben Hutton kind of sitting there. He could always pop in and play games, but you don't want Ben Hutton and Kaden Korczak playing key moments in playoff runs, right?
Yeah, no.
You need a Pietrangelo in a playoff run. Like he's been a centerpiece of a veteran presence in the playoffs, right? Like you need a guy like that.
Like I said, I'm hoping Theodore coming back helps a lot because
it should.
Because Hannafin's been good, but once you have
two
pairs, you can have out there because Hannafin's more. What I really liked about him is he's so aggressive with his shot and his shooting. And he's, it's that mythical shoot first mentality that Cassidy's always trying to encourage.
Yeah.
So he's been great there. But But then when pretty much anyone else is on the ice, if they're at the blue line and they have the puck, a lot of the times they're just chipping it back in and trying to keep the play alive, which is the smart move. But like I said, Theodore has the talent and the ability and the skating to walk the line and not just hit it back, smack it down the wall, but like actually create a play or something.
Walk the line and shoot it on net, and then you have the deflection in front, right?
Yeah, or just walk in and not even shoot it, but just like find a forward and get something going.
Yeah, create a lane yourself because everybody's trying to see where you're going to go. You're that good of a player. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, but it's also the thing is like coming out of the break, they were playing really, really good without Theodore, and then maybe it's kind of caught up to him because that guy's a huge centerpiece, and it was a good point brought up on to start the game this morning. Noah Hannafin played the most minutes of his career yesterday.
Oh damn!
He had like almost 30 minutes in yesterday's game.
Jesus, I did not know that.
So yeah, maybe that was a reason when he was kind of invisible today. So you gotta think about that stuff too. And of course they're probably dog tired from playing basically so it was overtime and a shootout. So playing double hockey yesterday, and then you're traveling. You're going from Buffalo to Detroit. That's not a short plane ride. It's probably a couple hours, and then you have to get back on ice for morning skate, and then you have to be right. It's a lot.
All I hear right now, Alex, all I hear is excuses. Excuses.
I would say the excuses for for a bad back-to-back loss is there's excuses there, right? You had a hard game yesterday and it was a lot of shit. But there's really no excuse to lose. Like you said earlier, you can lose the game against Detroit like this if you won against Buffalo, if you won against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, it's why you can't just...
You can't give away.
You can't just not get those easy points.
Because we had
not even say easy, those obtainable points.
Yeah, because you could have won both of those.
You can't leave shit on the board.
We'd be going into today being 3-0 right on the road trip, and we lose. We're like, okay, that was a bad game, but hey, they played a hard week. It was a lot of games in 1 week, but we got 3 wins out of that. It's no problem. Now you're going. Hey, it was a hard week. Still, it was a very hard week. It was a lot of hockey in a week, but we only came out of the week with 4 points.
Yeah.
We only won 1 game. Was it against the best team we played? Probably, but that's still not an excuse for losing to a Detroit or a Pittsburgh or Buffalo, because Pittsburgh and Buffalo are both in 8th.
Yeah, they're awful.
And like you said earlier, don't look now. Pittsburgh's a 4 points out of the playoff. I'm like, if they make the playoffs, they're gonna get absolutely fucking dog walked by the Caps. Like
they have nothing in that lineup.
Yeah, there's
nothing.
They have no business in fighting for a playoff position. Neither does Buffalo. I think has given up, but and maybe we're putting too much on the Capitals, but man. It's more of a dominant matchup than Rangers last year, right?
Yeah,
because the Capitals are just flat out so good that it's even if you play Florida, even if it's Florida that is the wild card they were playing, Florida's gonna fucking murder somebody.
Yeah,
you're gonna have Kachuk back and Marchand in that lineup. Whoever is the last wild card in is gonna get an absolute fucking bashing.
Yeah.
In the East. And that's what I mean. But you come into the West, maybe Vancouver, Minnesota might be a little easier, but that's why you want to get that matchup. Because you want one of those two teams so you could, not counting them out at all, because they're going to make the playoffs. They're good enough teams to make the playoffs. But those are the easier matchups. You don't want to play the 2-3 seed.
Yeah,
because it's going to be a bloodbath.
There's nothing wrong or disrespectful with saying I'd rather face the wild card team with a not great record than
you don't
have to play one of the best teams in the league in the first round.
Yeah, you don't think Dallas or Colorado they're not looking forward to 7 games of what we're watching right now.
Yeah,
it's going to be a brutal fucking series.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna happen to them. It's gonna happen to whoever comes out of that. What happened to Dallas last year? We beat the shit out of each other that first series, and then they had to go to fucking Colorado.
Yep.
And then they played. Well,
oh damn, who was that?
They're saying interference. Oh, it was Robertson. I thought they said interference. That was a great shot. I think it was from Hintz too.
Fantasy points for me.
Fantasy points for Gio. God damn it. That was a good shot. Well, he's finally heating up after not doing anything.
Well, he had a slow start to the year, but he's been really good.
He's been really good. But yeah, like, I mean, look at that. Like, it was quite literally the littlest of mistakes. Hit the ref.
Damn.
That wasn't even Colorado's fault. Yep. I don't know what Lindgren was doing there. Why didn't you go straight to Robertson?
He's just doing Lindgren things.
Oh, he literally leaned over for him to get a better... He screened his own goalie and leaned over to get a better shot. Oh, my God. That was pretty bad. But it still hit the ref. But that, it's going to be series like this. Like, it's going to be hard series. Like, you want a better matchup. Like, I don't want to play LA or Edmonton in the first round. Because Edmonton's probably going to be coming off of feeling like piss and vinegar and
exactly.
Coming into it like back into this in the series, and LA is going to be hungry to win something finally. Finally get out of the first round, right?
Can you imagine how ecstatic LA would be to play anyone but Edmonton?
They would love it. They would love it. Like,
and let's not forget they fucking tossed our salads pretty much every game this year.
Yeah,
except for the first one.
Yeah, the other two they beat the shit out of us.
Yeah, which is funny because I feel like there's this thing with like I don't want to say with Vegas fans, but maybe just hockey fans in general, but also Vegas fans where
bad giveaway.
They really have a selective memory where they're like, well, didn't we fucking beat them like 6-1? I'm like, yeah, in October.
Yeah.
Every game since that mattered, they fucking destroyed us.
Yeah, they beat us 5-2 in LA, and then it was 6-5 this last one, but it was 6-1 or 2 at one point.
Yeah.
We literally had to push back and let us back in.
There's just something about that matchup where there's just something about us that they can exploit at will, it seems.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. It's just something about like the neutral zone coverage.
Yeah, they're so good.
But we just like never, and maybe in a 7-game series, Cassidy can make his adjustments and
figure
all that,
it out.
But like, god damn
that'd be a hard matchup.
That'd be a very hard matchup.
And a lot of those players are heating up too. Like Byfield scoring again, and Doughty looks really good. Whereas like with Edmonton, it might be an easier matchup, not because of their not because of Draisaitl and McDavid, right? Because they're going to be out playing a lot, but you can exploit that defense pretty easily, outside of like Ekholm, right?
Yeah. Should we look at the wild card race real quick? Look at the numbers here. So
Minnesota's in the wild
Minnesota's
card.
wild card 1, 79 points. Mm-hmm. Wild card 2 is Vancouver, 73 points. And then teams that I would classify as in the hunt: Calgary, 71, St. Louis, 71, Utah, 69.
Yeah.
So they're bunched pretty close.
So that wild card 1, 2, I mean, wild card 2
is going
to come down to the last. It's going to come down to the last game of the season, probably. But they all played the Jets. Right?
As I said, do we play wild card 2 or wild card 1?
Well, we played wild card 1. If we're the second best record in the West plays the best wild card team. That makes sense.
Okay.
So we would effectively be playing wild card 1 because or whoever wins the Pacific.
So basically, it'll probably be Minnesota if the playoffs started today. The old mythical.
We'd be Minnesota.
Saying. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? Minnesota could still, call me crazy. Like, what if Vancouver gets a little hot and they win a few games, Minnesota starts falling. Suddenly they're in wild card 1 and Minnesota's wild card 2, right? It's crunch time. 15 games left in the season, so everybody's have to step up, right? And they're all going to want... It's not going to be easy games. Like we've got not a too terrible difficult schedule left.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I keep telling myself that it's like, we have one of the easiest schedules left in the league, we keep losing games. Like, so what the fuck are they going to do when they hit the playoffs and suddenly they have to play a really good team 7 times in a row?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, the team that threw a game away against Buffalo or got their fucking salad tossed by Detroit. That's going to be the team that's going to beat Minnesota, beat LA, beat Edmonton.
Yeah.
And they're tired. Well, it's a lot more tiring than playing Buffalo and Detroit back to back.
Playing 7 games.
Playing a 7-game series against a really good team.
Playing 7 games in a matter of a week and a half.
And against teams that all want a piece of you because you've been dicking them over for years.
Yep. And teams that want to win a cup. They have to. It's sometimes it just looks like they don't want to win or be there. That went in. Am I crazy?
I thought it went in too. it's one of
It's
those
a trip, anyways.
I was gonna say it's one of those moments where I'm like, well, we'll see if the siren goes off in the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, I thought that went in. Oh, I guess not.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're gonna have to play bet. I mean, they just have to. We say that as two guys sitting on a couch watching hockey, right? But like, I think they all. I think overall,
excuse me, two hungover guys.
hungover watching hockey.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. But like, they have to be better, right? They have to. I think they know that too, and obviously Cassidy keeps saying it that they have to be better. But everybody that's going to make you better is there. Like, yeah, sure, Carlson's going to come back eventually, maybe Thursday even. But does Carlson make you better immediately? Yeah, a little bit. But is he going to take a couple games to be up to game speed? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to be an immediate force, right?
It's getting guys back isn't a magic switch.
No.
You know, it's like, oh, well, these guys are back, so now we're good again. It's like, no, you have to be playing well. The whole team has to be playing well.
Exactly. I think,
like you said, if anything, those guys are going to need time to readjust and get back up to game speed. So, you know, you pray to God that you're playing well when they come back, so they're not getting thrown at the fucking wolves.
Exactly. And today, even I wouldn't put the game on Samsonov at all. Like,
oh, not at all. He had a good game.
Yeah,
I know some idiot's going to find a way to blame him, and I know we've had our criticisms of him, but I don't criticize people without also recognizing the
team play in front of them, like
that, and their goods. And yeah, he had a good game tonight. We got fucking shut out. We only generated 17 shots.
Yeah, the team wasn't good enough in front of them, and
we were as that third period went on, we were giving up a lot.
Yeah, they were just like they're letting just free shit go in, and they're just not even pushing back at all. And like same thing against Buffalo, like. Maybe that one goal that went 5-hole on Hill. Maybe he could have saved something or could have been a little bit more aware. But those other goals weren't on him. Like those weren't like this team just stopped playing in front of him. Like it doesn't matter how good your goaltender if your team gives up, right? Or not even like just isn't playing good enough to beat fucking Buffalo.
Yeah.
You're gonna think he's gonna outplay a fucking Edmonton or an LA in the playoffs. But you know, there's some, you know, highlights of the week still, right? We beat Columbus, and in that and after the Buffalo game too, Eichel has now the most points in a single season in Golden Knights history.
Yep,
and he's still on track for 100 if he can keep scoring. So he passed that up, and then Adin Hill got a contract.
Yes,
6 years, $6.5 million.
6.25.
25. I was surprised at the length.
I was too, just because I feel like they don't like giving out contracts like that to goalies.
Surprised at the length. It was a little rich, but then you look in perspective of who's available, and it's a nightmare.
Well, yeah, it's that, and then also, I think he's been better this year than people realize or give him credit for.
Yeah,
I think people still have this mindset of like, oh, 908 save percentage. That's not good.
The league average is like what, 900, 901?
Yeah, I was gonna say scoring's been way up. Like goalie numbers this year aren't what they don't mean what they meant 2-3 years ago.
No, there's there's only a couple outliers, right? In Hellebuck, and like even like the ones that you say that are really good, like Otter's been all right. Shesterkin's been pretty bad this year.
Exactly.
Vasilevsky's been very good. But like even their percentages are like 910s, 915s. They're not a Hellebuck who's just playing out of his mind. It's got like a 930 something. The averages are down with scoring going up. So he, like you said, he's not even hasn't even been that. Not even say that bad. He hasn't been bad. He's been good. He's been above average.
Exactly. He's consistently here.
Where would you want to go from that? You want to go fucking
okay? Money Puck has him at 15. So that's in the top half.
Yeah.
You want to take a guess on his goal saved above expected?
Goal saved above expected. You know, I looked at this a couple weeks ago, and Samsonov's was really bad, but his was pretty good. I think he's at like a 5.
He's at 13.3.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's really good. So he's making the hard saves when the team he's bailing out the team when he needs to.
Mm-hmm. Damn. And then GAA 2.54.
That's good.
There's a lot of really detailed. stats
Sabermetrics.
here. A lot of really detailed stats here that my brain don't understand. But the point is, all the boxes are dark shades of blue, and I think that's good. So
yeah,
the point being, I think he 100% deserves that contract.
Yeah, I think
everyone still kind of has this. Everyone kind of still has it in their mind that he's like this fringe backup that's like getting carried by a team.
No,
and I just don't think that's true.
No, I mean, look at the goalie market next year. Like, who are you really gonna sign? Fucking.
Oh yeah, I guess
Alexander Georgiev.
Well, exactly. I think I was talking to you or maybe someone at Mojave, but I was like, I could actually see us re-signing Samsonov because
the backup market's so bad.
Exactly.
Like, it's Peter Mrazek. Freddie Anderson's a free agent, but Freddie Anderson is 35, going on 36. He's never played a full. Hasn't played a full season since he was with Toronto, maybe. And he's been injured. He's got lingering blood clot issues. He's inconsistent.
And I just kind of expect the Canes to not let him go.
No, they might because how good Kochetkov can be. But yeah, like I don't think that he's gone. They probably signed him to a year or two, right? And then who else was out there? Like Jake Allen, but New Jersey's not going to let him go.
Exactly. Like any like notable name I saw, I was like,
"There's no way."
I was like, "Yeah, they're going to resign him." Because
look, it's Jamie Benn trying to kill people.
Classic.
Jesus, watch this.
I hate that man so much.
Right into the fucking, and then lifted his visor up too. Good God, this has got to be a double minor, right?
Oh, you'd hope. Player was really digging for blood.
Like shoot it out of your nose.
Oh yeah, he's bleeding.
Oh yeah, yep, double minor. You dumb bitch, Jamie Benn.
Well, hey, maybe. I'm pretty sure Mikko Rantanen just took his extension money, so maybe Jamie Benn will be available. Get him on VGK.
Kill me. That's like a player. You know how you talk about like grimy players you would love on your team. That's a guy that I would never want near our team. Like, you know how the whole Marchand thing, or like,
well, he's a rep, but when he's on your team, I'm like, yeah.
I would actually hate to have Jamie Benn on our team.
Yeah, I would not be thrilled.
Same with
it.
like an Evander Kane or like, guys like that. Like, you're like, I don't want them anywhere near us. And maybe it's our bias because, they've done dumb shit to us in the last 8 years, right? So maybe we just don't like him. But
well, he's also just like not that great at hockey anymore.
Jamie Benn? No.
Yeah, and he also melts down in big moments like the Stanley Cup playoffs where he tries to decapitate people and get suspended for 3 games.
Exactly. But yeah, like there's not a lot on the market like in terms of goaltending, so you have to time up now. And I saw a great point where everybody's like, "Oh, it's a little expensive, right?" But then it's like you look into the perspective of the percentage of the cap.
Exactly.
He's only going to be actually like 6% maybe of the cap as it goes up. So that saves you room for your depth forwards and for Jack Eichel in a year, right? Because obviously Eichel's going to get a raise. I don't hope it's $12 million, but it could be. If he repeats this year, next year...
I think it very easily could be, and I think it might be more like 13.
Yeah, I mean, because Connor McDavid, in all intents and purposes, Connor McDavid's on a fucking deal. Like, that's like a team friendly deal.
Oh yeah, he's probably gonna get like fucking 16.
Oh yeah, easy. And then Nathan McKinnon is getting paid like 12 and a half, I think, 13, something like that.
I want to say like 13, maybe
and
a shade under.
That's still a little cheap for it. He's leading the league in points by a fucking mile right now, and he's just the best player in the NHL by a lot. And Matthews is getting paid like 14 or something, and then Draisaitl is going to be paid 14. So, I mean, by all means, he's going to get paid at least 12 and a half. And that's the bottom, right? So it's like only a couple million raise, but then you have to consider what else is there. But locking up a goaltender of Hill's caliber long term, I think is good.
That and I think it can't be overstated that the goalie coach really loves him.
Yep.
Sean Burke really loves Hill.
Yep.
They seem to have a great relationship. He seems to be receptive to coaching.
Yep.
Unlike others.
Yeah.
But
and then also a major point to think about too is that 6 years gives you a window for a Lindbaum to develop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about, like do we risk the chance of letting Samsonov go and keeping Schmid and Lindbaum as backups? But you could probably get Samsonov for like $1 million again, $1.5 million, and easy backup, right? And then you let Lindbaum develop in the AHL, and he's by all means playing really good. And I think that's kind of like at minimum a backup of the future, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of where it's going, and that's why the point of the term is that 6 years. You go right through Adin Hill's prime, because Adin Hill's like, what, 28?
Yes.
So you go, you're going straight through his prime, right? Goalie's prime is like, what, 27 to about 33, 34-ish, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going straight through his prime years, and he might, and you know what? He might get better.
Oh, damn. Colorado just scored. Good. Keep this game even.
Yeah, beat each other up.
Exactly.
But yeah, like
Marty Natchez.
Yeah, I want him to look at.
As I go stare down Mikko Rantanen on the bench.
But yeah, like again, like we said, like who's going to be available in 3 or 4 years, and are they going to be worth it? And they probably looked at it and were like, no, like why would we pay $2 million for fucking Alexander Georgiev? Why would we pay money for bad goaltenders?
Yeah.
Or aging out goaltenders like a Mrazek and a Riddick and guys that are older, and Freddie Anderson. So I think it's a good deal. And then we were talking about it the other day, it leaves what, $10 million?
Yeah. Let me pull up
because we would need to sign. We're 3 forwards short, right? And with him signed, a backup 3 forwards, a backup goaltender, and Haig as an RFA.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think you could sign Saad Smith as like a as cheaper deals, right? Because then you also have Schwint and Lavoie that you can have him play fourth line.
All right, here's the breakdown.
Okay.
So we're gonna have we're gonna have about $10.5 million in space.
Mm-hmm.
Our current UFAs are Smith, Olofsson, Pearson, Saad, and Samsonov. Our current RFAs are Haig, Holtz, Rombier, Lavoie, and Schwint. So, I think some of those guys are going to be gone.
Yes.
My first instinct is that Olofsson and Pearson are going to be gone.
Yes.
They'll probably see if they can get Smith or Saad on a cheap,
I think they can do 1 or 2. I mean, Saad said it himself. He's like, I made enough money. I want to go win more championships. So,
and then with Smith, I think you can pull the old like, hey man,
you're home. We brought you back.
Aren't you glad to be home?
Isn't your family glad to be back in Vegas?
Aren't you happy enough that you would sign a
$1.5-2 million deal?
A 1 year, $2.2 million deal.
I think so. I think he would. Like, I think
play on the bottom 6.
Yeah, I think both Smith and Saad would sign a $2 million deal. So that puts you at 4. And then Samsonov, you can bring him back for 1 because maybe they're like, well, we want you here. He's backing up.
Yeah.
And then I think you said the RFAs are Haig, Ronberg, Lavoie, and Schwint, right?
And Holtz.
Holtz is gone, unless they say you're going to play in the AHL. And I think Lavoie and Schwint they can get for like $1 million because they have.
I know Cassidy likes them, and I'm just going to say they're not such an impact players that
they're not going to make.
I think if they go to an arbitration hearing, they're frankly not going to have a lot to.
Yeah, they're going to they're going to get $975K or some stuff like that.
Yeah,
because they're both good, really really good bottom 6 options, and they're young too. And I think Ronberg, I don't know. I mean, he's another also a really great bottom 6 option.
He's been I like Ronberg. He's
consistent
He's been a loyal foot soldier in the organization.
And that's the thing though, is like once he gets through this RFA though, like is he going to say, "Hey, I want to play NHL games. I don't want to keep going back up and down. So either you can guarantee me a spot in the bottom 6 or I'm just not going to sign."
Because or just trade me somewhere with
because he can
depth issues.
He can go play in Pittsburgh and Detroit, and he can go play in a lot of, like he could be a starting bottom 6 guy in Vancouver right now.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of places he can go play right now. I would love to keep him. It's just they've got new toys, right? They got Schwint and Lavoie. And then Haig is going to be the hard one.
Yeah,
he's making like what, $2 million, something like that. It wasn't too much, I think.
Yeah, it's not a lot. Yeah, he is on the third year of a 3-year, $2.294
Okay,
million
so
contract.
it wasn't bad. He's gonna want a raise, I think for sure. But like, how much of a raise, right?
Yeah, well,
like,
frankly, he's earned it.
I think so too. He's played really well. I mean, he played pretty good today against Detroit. He broke up a lot. He's been breaking up a lot of plays in his own zone.
He's been one of the better players on. He was one of the better players on that road trip. Not that it ended well, but
yeah, and he's really picked up his offense, right? Like,
yeah, and I think he's one of those guys that just randomly gets flack from people, just because you're middle/lower end of the lineup defenseman. Those always seem to be the the sacrificial lambs to fan hate.
Yeah, but he's been good.
He has been good.
I mean, he's been pushing in the offensive zone more. He's shooting. He's pinching down into the play a lot. He's going around the net. He's had his puck control's gotten a lot better, and he's been pretty damn good in his own zone. There'll be a couple mistakes here and there, but every defenseman makes a mistake in the league, and he, like you said, he looked really good on this road trip. He broke up today. He broke up a 2-on-1 by himself.
And he didn't he do something like that in one of the last 2 games?
Yeah, he does that all the time, and you overlook a guy that's playing like that, and you focus on his little issues. It's kind of like the thing with White Cloud where he had like a slump and everybody's focusing on how bad he was and get him off the team. I'm like, no, he just has a little bit of slump. Players go through these things.
Yeah. And
even then, Haig's not in a slump. He's just out on the ice a lot because all these guys are playing a lot more without Theodore in. He's playing with Pietrangelo in key defensive situations. I think
some other things to consider. He has one more year until his UFA year.
Oh, gosh.
So this will be his last RFA contract.
So if we signed him, if we do 1 year, it'd be he's got one more year. So
basically, he might push for like a 1-year deal or something.
Yeah,
and then be like, all right, well now I'm a UFA. So
yeah, so that might
be the way to do it though if we want to keep the cap hit low for a year.
Yeah, if you want to do 3, I mean, I think he's at least worth $4 to $4.5 million.
I would think so.
But then you have to do the math in the future, right? Because you have Theo and Hannafin at 7 and change, right? And then McNabb's at I think 3. Then you have to pay Eichel, but in 2 years, Pietrangelo comes off the board, right? And like we said, does he take a deal? Does he come off the board and he's like, I want just so much money, and you can still let him walk, right? Because he'll be older at that point. I think they structured the contracts well. I don't think we have any right now singularly awful contract, right?
No, definitely not.
I think they're all very manageable, and if it has to happen, very movable.
Yeah,
down the line. So I think we're in a good spot there, but I mean, we're talking about Hill, but with Hill, I think it's you do that now. I'm pretty sure he would get more money in UFA.
Oh, easily. Everyone loves
a big cup winning goaltender.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see him getting 7 and plus by somebody desperate enough for a goaltender, like a Detroit or
I mean, let's not forget that
Jeremy Swayman got $8 million.
All that too.
Dog shit.
Let's not forget that Jack Campbell had one good year.
Mm-hmm.
And Edmonton did not hesitate to give him a 5x5 without thinking twice.
That was way worse of a contract, and he's out of the league entirely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he with Detroit, or did they let him go?
I think he's with Detroit. I think he's with Detroit, but I think
he's in the AHL, right?
Yeah.
Or is he in the player assistance program?
He might be in the player assistance program.
That.
Edmonton not a good place to go.
It ruins your mental health. If you're a professional hockey player and you're not a hockey robot, like
especially if you're a goalie, fucking Stuart Skinner must have the thickest
skin.
That's his porno name with his fucking porno stash. No, but Stuart Skinner must have the thickest skin imaginable.
Because God forbid the man has an 8.98 and a team that has no defense, and you're getting fucking crucified for losing games. It's like, yeah, of course he's not going to be playing the best. He's got fucking the dead body of Brent Kulak and fucking Ty Emberson letting in goals.
Troy Stetcher.
Fucking Evan Bouchard not even trying to play defense.
Dude, I think they are starting to make it like a regular thing, because on the Steve Dangle thing they did another breakdown of terrible Evan Bouchard plays that, and they can't show it, the video. So
yeah, because NHL will copyright them.
They're like, all right, Steve, how about you'll just watch it and go ahead and narrate in real time. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, all right, players coming in. Bouchard's standing there, straight-legged. Doesn't look like he's in get, and it's back in the net.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, like, we haven't been playing too well, right? But we don't have low effort. Like,
we don't have shit like that.
Yeah, well, it'll collapse, shit'll happen, sure, but we don't have a low effort. Just stand there and watch the play go by as you're the defenseman in the zone. Yeah. Like, has Pietrangelo made some dumb passes or some boneheaded plays? Sure, but it's not like just giving up on the play while they're coming towards you. I mean, I think, I don't know. I just think there's a lot to be fixed, but we've only got 15 games left, and I don't think you can say fix it in 15 games. I think you need to manage it in 15 games.
Mm-hmm. It's
not like there's fatal flaws, right? There's not. It's just like the compete level is sometimes that you're like, you guys can. It's that whole thing with Gary, like. They can be the best team in the league any given night if they wanted to. Some nights they're just like, I'm not going to try.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I said this when we were watching the third period. I was like, this team, this is kind of the bad part of having a veteran team and a team that's won. I would say this is not always a bad thing because you kind of need it. But there is a certain level of arrogance and a certain level of, well, we can just turn it on and we're never out of it. And, we can just jerk off for, a couple games and we'll be just fine because the real games start. True. I do believe this team will know how to buckle down when it matters. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I do truly believe if you play bad hockey rolling into the playoffs,
you're going to keep playing bad hockey.
It's going to be a short playoff.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what happened last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Frankly, I'm surprised it went to 7 games.
Yeah.
Looks like it almost looked like it wasn't going to. But yeah, you build these bad habits in this bad mindset. And like I said, suddenly you're getting this pressure put on you from a really good team. And you can't just recover, and turn it around. So, and that night, we saw it the year we won the cup. That after the All-Star break, the crazy tear we went on. I know that's not going to happen every year, but the point is they were by the time the playoffs hit, they were fucking rolling, and then they
had all the confidence in the world.
They peaked at the right time.
Yep.
We gotta. If we want to peak at the right time, we got to start climbing now.
We got to find that gear. And luckily, I think we go on a pretty decent homestand, right? In this next couple weeks. Because we play Boston on Thursday. I think Detroit again on the weekend. So we go on, I think, a decent, a few games. So maybe we could, step on the gas there. And maybe these next 4 days of not.
We have a 3-game homestand. And then a 3-game road trip to finish the month.
Okay, so maybe the this 4-day break, right? Maybe you can get a full practice in, like an actual full practice instead of just a morning skate. Maybe you get Carlson back, and then all of a sudden, you're working on the things that you had problems with during the road trip. And I do think that Cassie's going to drill it into these guys.
Yeah.
Over these next 4 days.
Stop fucking around.
Yeah, it's like it's crunch time. I mean, you look at Knobloch for the Oilers. He's saying the same thing. He's like, it's crunch time. These guys have to be engaged. I've got guys that aren't, and they know who they are. Mm-hmm. And he's do I like do I like the Oilers? Obviously, no. Do I respect him as a coach for flat out calling people out? Yeah, because that team should be better. Same for us. Cassie's flat out calling guys out. The team should be better.
I will say real quick, I'm looking at the schedule, and I think this 3-day break is like the longest break we have.
Yeah. Lock in now because we don't play again until Thursday.
That's the longest gap between games we have for the rest of the season.
They fly back today, fly back tonight, and maybe they get a day off tomorrow. But
practice,
lock it in.
Yeah, then practice Wednesday, and then you're fucking. It's a sprint to the end because.
Yep.
It's basically games,
a lot of games
every other day.
Yeah.
There's back to back to finish the month. Mm-hmm. Back to back to finish the season.
God, Cody Ceci looks like such a goddamn fucking just Neanderthal. Look at that man. Not a thought in that brain.
Yeah, but we have a 2-day gap between Minnesota and Chicago on the road at the end of the month. But other than that, we're playing.
We're playing a lot of hockey.
Playing every other day, pretty much. So
yeah, it's a dead sprint. It's like that for everybody too, right? Because everybody has maybe plus 1 or 2 games more than us left, or a couple games less than us. But everybody's dead sprinting to the playoffs. And if you don't take it seriously, you're going to quickly fall out of a pretty good position. Or even if you make it Pacific one, what happens if Minnesota catches fire? Or whoever's that wild card is going to be coming in hot, right? Mm-hmm. And you're just kind of like, oh, well, let me meander into the playoffs. It's going to be fine. It's going to turn into like what happened to us last year,
exactly.
Or a few years before. Like it, you just can't just. I know we keep saying it. You just can't just stop. Like you can't. Like your crunch time is right now.
Yes, you have to get going now if you want to be at your peak during the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's really going to take a night off like that. You're going to be playing. Almost all of these guys or all these players, all these teams are within a playoff position, right? There's only a handful of them maybe that are completely out of it that you're going to be playing. But most of these teams you're going to be playing coming up are within 2 to 4 points of a spot. Should some of them give up? Probably. But will some of them not give up? Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing.
Like Boston
players don't give up.
No, Boston should give up. They won't.
I would say management may quote unquote give up and say, "Well, we're selling at the deadline," but that team, those players, they don't give a fuck about draft position or
no.
Those guys are all fighting for their contracts.
Well,
they're fighting for ice time. They don't, all those veteran guys, like, oh yeah, I don't want my ice time to take a hit because some fucking
some new kid,
some hot shit kid just finished his college season and now he's taking my ice time and that's going to hurt my next contract negotiation. Fuck that.
I mean, you can just be like San Jose and just trying to find another buddy for Macklin Celebrini, another friend. But speaking of Celebrini and draft picks, do you see that shit with Bedard?
What shit?
Two or three separate 10-minute game misconducts.
The tantrums.
Well, the first one wasn't too bad because he did get tripped and tackled, and then he was like, that's a trip.
That's the one where I think most of the media players I heard and former players in the media and podcasts and TV panels and shit. I heard the theme a lot of it's like, well, it doesn't matter how talented you are, kid. You're still a fucking kid, and you can't beak off like that.
True.
You haven't earned
that's
it,
very true. And then I think he kept doing it the next couple of games. I'm like, you're still only like 20 years old. Like once you won a couple hearts and have the scoring title a couple times, maybe you can yell at an official. Like Sidney Crosby can yell at an official. You can't yet.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Like, yeah, McKinnon yells a lot, but you know what? It's fucking Nathan McKinnon.
He's literally the best player in the league right now.
Yeah, and he's also like an adult man.
He's still not growing.
Yeah.
Macklin Celebrini still going through his growth spurt. Not Macklin Celebrini, I'm sorry. Connor Bedard's still going through a growth spurt, so he's not allowed to talk to adult men that way.
Yeah, no one wants to get beaked off by a fucking
19-year-old.
Yeah, someone that looks like they're
graduated high school last year.
Yeah, someone that looks like they're lost on their way to their first college class.
Yeah, but like, I mean, kind of speak on officiating too. Against the Penguins, that was pretty bad.
That was awful.
Like,
I never want to be the guy that like blames refs because I just think it's like corny and like a loser mentality. But like, goddamn, there were some pretty fucking blatant ones in there that they got away with. And I'm telling you, I said it at the moment, I'll say it again. They didn't call it because they knew we would probably score in the power play, and they were trying to manage the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it fucking worked, buddy. Fucking worked, refs.
Yeah. I
maybe that again speaks to us relying on the power play too much, but
when it's that much of a weapon,
I'm realizing now, because I used to hear Edmonton fans bitch about this, but when you have like a number 1, number 2 power play in the league, and they know it, they get stingy with those whistles. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you're right. Because like, even like watching this game, like there is a couple spots there where I'm like, man, Dallas just took that guy down, or like I know these. Well, Dallas's power play is not very good, but Colorado's is. I know they've gotten a couple calls for them too, but like there's some spots there like, oh, I mean that could have gone either way, but they're probably treating this more like a playoff series.
Yeah,
it's going to be what it is. But I think reffing as a whole has been not great
no.
this year. And then you against the game in Buffalo when Howden hit that, I don't remember the player, but yeah, I'm sure you may have seen the highlight where the player came around the net, had his head down, and Howden just put his body through him. Wasn't a penalty, clean hit. Keep your head up. And, you say that all the time. There's been a lot of massive hits this year. Keep your head up. And then Krebs came in to fight. Surprisingly, I guess he's just mad. Krebs came in to fight, and I think Howden still ended up with a penalty, right? Like, it was a 5 for fighting, and then Howden had like, I don't remember. We may have gone on the power play, but I'm like I don't understand how you give Howden, matching penalties when he got jumped.
Yeah.
Like, even if he swung back, he's defending himself. And it's been inconsistent through the whole season. And like you said, like, if they know that you've got one of the best power plays in the league, they're going to swallow the whistles as it comes down the...
Because they're like, well, if I give this team a power play, I'm basically just giving them a goal.
Yeah, and as it comes down the stretch, too, I think that's kind of more of a, a pre-playoff, like, warning, right? Like, yeah, you got tripped, kind of. We're not going to give that to you because we're not going to give that to you in the playoffs either. But there's been some blatant stuff, too, where it's like, he just threw his stick straight into that skate. Like, come on, man. Like, are you kidding me? So I think that's kind of a sign for the playoffs where I think we're going to have a lot. Usually penalties are down in the playoffs, right? Or at least called. I think it's going to be even down even more this year than previous years. I think they're going to play these playoff series are going to be absolute like bloodbaths, more than they are.
Also, just because I was curious, I pulled up the game log from the Buffalo game. Let's see. Peyton Krebs, 2-minute minor, instigator against Brett Howden. Peyton Krebs, 5-minute major for fighting. Brett Howden, 5-minute major for fighting. Peyton Krebs, 10-minute for instigator misconduct.
Oh, yeah. What was I thinking of then? I don't know, but yeah. I mean, it was a clean hit. So, I mean, I guess Krebs got punished for it, but...
Yeah.
It was pretty early on, too.
Which, by the way, can I just say, Peyton Krebs is just a little bitch, man. I mean, he can kick my ass, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I'm just like so sick of this kid. Every time we play him, he does shit like this.
Yeah,
like,
he was going after people yesterday too. Like,
yeah, and wasn't there a story, like a rumor that he burned his fucking Golden Knights jersey when he got traded?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows if it's true, but I don't know. To me, I'm just like, bro, I'm like, trades happen. You're not exactly a fucking superstar. Okay?
Yeah, you're not Jack Eichel where you expect to be booed by Buffalo. You're a superstar. It's like, Krebs, you literally barely played with the NHL team.
Yeah, you barely played, and then you went to Buffalo, and you ended up becoming like a fucking fourth liner that's in and out of the lineup. That's not on anyone else but you. And, I don't know why you're so offended that you got traded, because you obviously haven't done much to be much of a player. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's
all.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Like, there's not a lot of former players that are, like, hot against the Golden Knights. Like David Perron just scores, right? But
Yeah.
he's not dirty. Whereas Krebs was like just doing dumb shit. Like every time we play them, like he's like out there like
He's just stirring shit, getting into fights, fucking hitting people.
Maybe he's trying to revamp his role to being, a rat.
heel.
Yeah, but like you're not a very good one when you're that small and you can't fight very well. And
Yeah.
like most rats have a reason to stick in the game because they're either really good and a rat, or they're just good enough to excuse the dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like look at like Nick Cousins. Like he's been passed around the league because he's not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won a cup, but he barely played that playoff series.
Exactly, and now he's a fucking healthy scratch in Ottawa. So
actually, he tore his shoulder.
Oh.
So I was curious because I was like,
well, they're
what
obviously
happened
they're doing well without him. So
yeah, plenty well. Yeah,
Which, isn't it crazy? Ottawa, they might actually do it. They might actually.
Are they a wild card run right now?
I think so.
Let's look at the playoffs for the East because we looked at the West and we're like, it's wide open in that.
It's that
bottom
time of
wild
year,
card.
Alex. It's that time of year where
What does the
we're
East look
looking
like?
at the standings, looking at the wild cards. That's the West, the East. So just real quick, the 1, 2, 3 in the Atlantic is Florida, Tampa, Toronto. They're all a bunch pretty close together.
Yep.
The 1, 2, 3 in the Metro is Caps, Carolina, Devils. All spaced out pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be much change in that. And then wildcard 1, Ottawa, 77 points.
Wow.
And then wildcard 2 is the Rangers, 72.
What?
Yeah. And then below them is Montreal, 71. Columbus, 70. Detroit, 70. Boston, 68.
So I would say Boston's out. I would say that cut line is below that 70 and 71.
Yeah.
So it's 70 to, you said 72, so it's all a game.
Yeah.
Everybody's within a win of each other for wild card 2.
Yep.
Wow. And
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 teams that are all within 2 points for the last wild card spot.
And then how many
That's
points
crazy.
does the Devils have?
The Devils have 78.
And
So they're only 1 point ahead of Ottawa right now.
and are the Devils and Ottawa in the same division?
Good question. I have no clue because I don't give a shit about the East.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Yeah,
No.
the Devils are in the Metro. Ottawa's in the Atlantic.
Who's in fourth place in the Metro right now? The Rangers?
The Rangers, 72. Then fifth is Columbus at 70.
I mean, I hope the Rangers give us a little gift today, and they beat Edmonton.
Yeah.
I mean, the Devils could fall out of the playoffs too.
I know that was a fear a lot of people had because I just feel like they haven't been good this year. Like in general, like they kind of had a hot start and like the whole second half just fell apart. But
Yeah,
now they're missing Jack Hughes. They're
Jack
missing
Hughes
Dougie Hamilton
and Eunice Siegenthaler.
So like basically,
Markstrom's not been very good.
yeah. So basically, their best forward by a mile, and they're probably their 2 best defensemen.
Yeah.
Their best offensive and best defensive defensemen.
Yep.
So, but they won a couple games. So after the trade deadline. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be wild.
Even if they make it in, because Jack Hughes is shut down until September, right?
Oh yeah, like he won't be able to play in the playoffs.
So like, even if Hamilton and Siegenthaler are able to, you're missing easily your best forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that means like Meyer and Heeshire and all those guys will have to step up. But like, and see when you said that, like the Caps, Carolina, the Devils are all spaced out, and then Florida, Tampa, and Toronto are all close together. That's kind of like the Pacific, and it's kind of like the Central. But I just don't. I look at all those teams, and you're like, okay, Florida and Tampa Bay, and maybe the Caps, but I still don't fully believe in the Caps.
I would say, not to be a hater, but I do not believe in the Caps. If they get fed a bad team in the first round, they could probably make it happen. But
yeah,
in general, they're just riding
writing
a ridiculous shooting percentage for half their team.
Yeah, and you roll into the playoffs with inexperienced playoff goaltending. Like Logan Thompson's good, right? But like he hasn't had a full playoff series of playoff hockey. And same with Charlie Lindgren. Charlie Lindgren got dominated, right, by the Rangers last year. So there's some pieces. Obviously, there's proven veterans on that team, right? And there's guys that have won a cup, and I don't know if it rolls into it.
Here's my maybe a hater take, but how I see the Caps unfolding is they'll finish the season strong. Ovi's going to get the record.
Yep.
All the hooting and hollering. They might have a good first round against a wild card and see how that goes, but I don't think they're going deep. And then I think next year they're going to finish like middle of the pack and just not be very good.
Yeah, because I mean, when Ovi passes Gretzky this year, does he even stick around? Like, what's
he said he has one more year on his deal, and when asked about it, he said, he's like, I don't see myself resigning in the NHL, and he basically said he wants to go and play at least a year in Moscow.
Okay.
I guess he go home with his buddy Putin.
He'll somehow be the one of the youngest players in the KHL.
Yeah, well, I'm sure half of them got fucking drafted to go genocide Ukraine.
Jesus Christ. I mean, what's his name? Fedotov. They tried to draft him to do that, and then the Flyers whisked him away in the night.
Yeah, the Flyers fucking special ops team that seems to specialize in extracting Russian players from
We're
Russia.
able to get him out.
But so yeah, I don't know. Maybe if he breaks it, he says, "Actually, I'm retiring a year early. Bye." Or maybe,
okay. So he's got one more season left after this year. I mean, maybe. I mean, he could just flat out say, "I'm retiring. I'm going back to Russia, and you're never going to hear from me."
How shitty would it be? Also, kind of funny if he falls short by like a goal or two this year, and then he's like, "Fuck!" So he's like, "I have to come back for at least 1 year." But he shows up and he's just like fucking fat and old and out of shape, and it just turns into him sitting at the circle. It's kind of what he's doing this year.
Yeah,
like I know there have been some clips of him like, "Wow, he's actually playing defense," but if you watch a full Caps game, it really is a lot of him just not
standing,
moving.
Yeah, just standing at the circle,
just not moving.
Being a body.
It's like he knows he has like one energy burst per game, and he tries to save it for the right time.
that right time, that one fucking wrister from the circle, just to shoot it.
He's like, guys, I only got like one back check in me per game. Other than that, I'm gonna fall apart.
he's only got like one vertebrae that works.
Yeah, so you boys better keep it together.
Yeah. Like if he's short, and then he comes back next season, and then if he gets like them in the first 2 games, right? You think he just go, "I'm out, I'm done."
Honestly, like I think he might. He's just never been a guy to give a fuck,
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I do respect about him is just the not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Because that's what I aspire to be in my life is to not give a fuck.
Could you imagine he gets 8? What's the goal? 892.
2 or 3, I don't know.
Something like that. Could you imagine he's at 891, right? Mm-hmm. And the season's over. And they're like, well, he's only a goal, two goals from passing it, and then within the first game, he gets it an opening night, wherever that may be, and then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna I'm done playing hockey, I'm out.
See the tweet the next day. Alex Ovechkin's on waivers for purpose of mutual contract termination.
Exactly.
And I was like, what? It's like, yeah. He's just like, actually, fuck this. I'm going home.
I hit the record. I do think he hits it this year. He's got he's 8 away, right? From passing it because he scored yesterday, I think. And there's only 15 games left. So it's gonna get close. So he's gonna have to basically score a goal every other game. It's gonna get dicey. I think it might come down to the last couple games. If he actually can hit it and passes it. But then again, I don't think they're going to arrest anybody. He's obviously not going to arrest if he's in pursuit of this goal. But do you think they would rest secondary players because they're so far ahead? I would think so, right?
Everyone does. I feel like everyone always loves to say the NBA and load management until we get to the last 2 weeks of April and suddenly top 6 guys are getting healthy scratched just to rest them.
Suddenly Kyle Connor's resting and you have some random guy from the Manitoba Moose.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if Cassidy did that. I think he's less against it, but I don't think Gallant or DeBoer were afraid of doing that because I remember there were games where it's when I was still learning the game pretty much, and I was like, what the fuck? Why is Max Pacioretty scratched on the second to last game? And then someone's like, well, he's probably resting for the playoffs, and I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
I feel ashamed for not realizing it.
Pretty sure they did that the Cup year, right? I think they let Eichel rest a few games and Petra rest a few games because we had like Brandon McCall was playing.
Well, that was the thing. I don't think we did because remember how tight the race was to win the conference? Like it literally was decided like on the last game or the second to last game.
Oh yeah,
because we were neck and neck with Edmonton, and we're like, well,
yeah, that's right. Because it was like a tiebreaker, and like there was all these like
it was basically the difference between if Edmonton took 1,
yeah,
we would have been 2, so we would have had to play. We would have played LA,
yeah, and
it was the difference between playing LA or winning the conference and playing Winnipeg, and Winnipeg was a wild card team that no one respected at the time. So yeah, they took that.
Yeah,
shit. They took that shit seriously.
Yeah, I guess maybe it goes down to what position you are in once you get to that point.
Because then also, because if you're like locked into third or whatever, then you're like, fuck it. But,
I'm not. Yeah.
It also gave us home ice advantage for all 4 rounds.
True, and that's another thing to think about too, right? We got plenty. We're only a 1-11, so there's plenty of time. But that's another thing to think about. Like, you want to be the higher seed because you want home ice advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm looking at LA and Edmonton in that matchup. It could go very quickly that LA's got the home ice advantage.
Yeah,
and that's going to be huge for them because they play so well
at home. They have like the best home record.
Yeah, they do. They play so well at home.
I didn't realize that until this week when Kings fan at my job mentioned it, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, he was like, oh, this would have been the 1 year I should have went to a home game.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's still time.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. I would say go. But they're very good at home, and you remove the advantage of an Edmonton having. You remove the home advantage, right? Of having those fans in the arena, having those fans getting the team going if there's a big moment or something, right? You kind of remove that from them entirely and from the atmosphere. So yeah, if you're locked in that spot, obviously you can rest people, but I think in hockey it matters more than like baseball and basketball and games with like full on series. Home ice advantage or home advantage is going to actually be a big piece in your favor, right?
Oh yeah,
because look at us in the Cup year. We had home ice advantage the entire run, and we used all of that, right?
Oh yeah.
I think the only home game that we lost, I think, was against the Winnipeg.
No, we lost home games. Did
we lose more than?
Yeah, Edmonton split the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The first 2. Dallas, we won the first 2. We won the first 3.
3. Oh yeah, they won one. Yeah,
and then I went to game 4. No, because that was in Dallas. I went to game 5 and we lost.
Yes, that's right.
And then, we won all our home games against Florida.
Yep. Yeah, so it was only a couple, but it still matters. Like, usually the home team is going to have a bigger advantage, like unless you're Colorado that same year and lose to Seattle, right? But
upsets happen.
It happens all the time.
Home ice doesn't guarantee anything, but it's nice to have.
It's very nice to have, especially in an arena like the Fortress or in an arena like Crypto or whatever the fuck it's called now, and or any arena in Canada. It's a huge home advantage. Like you're gonna have at least a slight like feeling of, okay, these fans are here to like get us going. Any big play, you hear them start roaring, and of course these guys are gonna feel it, right? And plus that's an advantage towards you with the opposite team because now they can't hear shit and they can't can't get things going. They can't focus on anything, right? So yeah, I mean we still plenty of games left. It's 15 games. Really only a month left of the season, I think.
Just about, yeah.
So a month left of the season.
Less, really.
15 games.
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah, 15 games, a month left, give or take a couple days, and there's going to be a lot of jockeying for position.
A lot of jockeying for position, and like I said, hopefully a lot of let's get into shape here.
Yeah,
boys.
I hope they take these next few games.
It's exactly a month because
look at me.
The last game of the year is April 16th in Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
The last home game is the 12th against Nashville.
Okay, we might go to that one because is that the first home game back for? Is that the first home game against Nashville this year?
Yep. So it'll be Marshy's homecoming.
I might go to that game.
Saturday, 7:00, Nashville.
I might go to that game. It's on a Saturday too. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Might go to that game. Hopefully at that point we're.
So let's just zoom through these real quick. We won't analyze them in any meaningful way, but so the remainder of the schedule is Boston, Detroit, Tampa Bay, three game homestand,
Mm-hmm.
then a road trip, Minnesota, Chicago, Nashville to finish the month of March.
Mm-hmm.
April, start off with a 2-game homestand, Edmonton and Winnipeg.
Oof.
3-game road trip, Calgary, Vancouver, Colorado.
Mm.
Then the final 2-game homestand is Seattle and Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finish the season on a 2-game roadie, Calgary and Vancouver, back to back.
Okay, and so none of those are. I mean, we say that now, and we should have won all the games this week.
Those teams are all better than Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
Yeah. But there's a couple difficult ones sandwiched in there, right? There's Tampa Bay at the end of this homestand. There's the Edmonton Winnipeg. That's going to be difficult. And then there's Colorado at the end of that road trip. So there's some games that will be very difficult. But there's a lot of winnable games in there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, they got to take these next few days to really, really exercise the issues that you had this week and clean up the game. Because, you said 5-on-5 hasn't been very good. You can't depend.
Generating fucking nothing at 5-on-5.
Yeah, you can't depend on a power play to save yourself, or multiple power plays to save you in a series in the playoffs.
Especially as it goes on.
Yeah.
Maybe in the first round or two.
Yes.
But by the end of the second round, they start swallowing those whistles. And
yeah.
Third and fourth round,
You're not going to get anything. Yeah.
You have to be like Jamie Benn and decapitate someone.
Yeah, you have to full on 2-hand chop someone's wrists off.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have to be better 5-on-5. Is it great that our power play is like number 2 in the league, and Tomas Hertl's got a ton of power play goals? Good, sure, yeah, but we have to do that. Yeah, even strength. You have to protect the game. You have to protect the leads. You have to protect your goaltender too. And like you said, when Theo does come back, it's going to help a lot, right? Because you're going to have a second guy that does what Hannafin's doing, but better, and how good Theodore was. But he's not coming back immediately. He's not going to be back probably until, if anything, the last week of the season. If he is, I don't think it's going to be within a week or two. He's not even skating yet, I think. And then Carlson, that's going to be great to have him back. But like you said, he's not like an offensive dynamo, right? He's not some game-changing offensive player. He's a good presence as a two-way forward, a guy that's going to help your team play defense. I don't think that's the problem is team defense, because it's been all right, if at sometimes a little shaky here and there. Mm-hmm. But it's like you said, it's the 5-on-5 offense that just doesn't exist right now. Mm-hmm. And that's something that at the beginning of the year, and even up till the break, that 5-on-5 offense was very good. And now it's kind of like, oh, we'll rely on a power play.
Yeah.
We'll get the call, and we'll pot one in, and we'll win. We'll be back all of a sudden. It's like, and look at today. I think we had one power play maybe, and we didn't do shit on it if we had any power plays. And yesterday, kind of the same way. We had a few. We only got one in. And I'm like, okay, like what? Like you can't lie your offense all into one set of plays. You have to figure something out. And this team's good enough to be good at 5-on-5. It's just executing. Like you said today with Mrazek, there's no rebounds.
Yeah,
he had so many pucks flying off of his body.
Yeah, he secured none of the shots that got through to him were secured after the fact.
It's like his goddamn pads are made of fucking rubber, bouncy castle material. It was just all trampolines. They're all flying off of them. And if we can't have a guy like what, I know that didn't go in because Blackwood's a good goaltender, but that was a rebound. And there's a guy right behind the rebound to shoot it back on Blackwood, and Blackwood just made a good save. And no one's doing that. Barbashev will have a great shot, and it'll bounce off. And Howden Colasar aren't there to back it up. Or like I've even gotten frustrated with Eichel and Stone. Yeah, maybe they're playing with Olofsson or Pearson, but like
they're not generating
enough or what they were. Like, you know what I mean? Like the line that's generating almost everything. I say the Barbashev line, but Howden, Barbashev, Colasar line, and
that or the Hurdle line,
That's the only thing that's really generating decent chances consistently. It's like there'll be times where like the Eichel line will chip it in, and just everybody's kind of floating, or like Stone will make a play but it goes nowhere. There's just nothing dynamic about like the play, like like that. Like there's nothing dynamic about it, and all of a sudden you miss a pass and the other team's going the other way and it's in the back of your net. So we're at 120. You got anything else to talk about?
Not really. I'll just say Henderson won a pretty big game last night.
They did.
In Coachella.
Let's talk about Henderson for a few minutes.
Keep the playoff hopes alive.
Keep the let me see where we're at. Keep the brief glimmer of hope. Let's see. And I think Holtz had the game-winning goal too, right?
I don't know.
Who would have thought?
I was pretty drunk by the time the score came in.
Who would have thought Alexander Holtz could find a league that he can score in? Yeah. They're playing the Reign today at 3 in Ontario. Let's see, standings. All right, right now they are still in 10th place, but they are only 8 points outside of a playoff spot, I think. I think 8 teams make it.
I think so.
So they're only 8 points behind the Condors, but the Condors have 2 games in hand, so I don't know.
It's still pretty slim, but if they can win this 3-game roadie, I think they got a shot.
Yeah, they're right there, and then just the complete turnaround as a team.
Just to stave off elimination as long as possible.
They're 24-31-7, so they're not 7, 24-31-3. So they're really only 7 wins off of being 500, which is pretty impressive to me, despite how bad they were.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it is. Miracle run to the playoffs would be great, but I think it's really more about just ending the season strong and saying like, that start to the season, that's not who we are.
Yeah. I think they can. I mean, we said that at the beginning of the year, they could turn a page. Yeah. But I think like you said, even if you don't make the playoffs, the AHL standings do not matter unless you're going to win a Calder Cup.
Yeah.
Where you stand. Or where you fall if you're outside the playoffs, it don't matter because there's no AHL draft. So
exactly,
push and finish strong and just show that there's life in this team,
and just have something to feel good about when you go into training camp next year.
Yeah, exactly. Could you imagine if you finish the year out on a pretty good winning streak and you're like, we didn't make the playoffs, but we finished that year strong, started off really slow, and now we're going to be getting guys in.
Now, you just have the feeling of being like, well, we're not going to go play in a fucking black hole of a black void that sucks all the hope and fun out of the game for us. So.
Yeah, and the games have been more fun as they've been winning. Like you're having more people over at Lee's, and everybody's having a good time, and it's a little bit more of a buzz that they're playing well. And then, like you said, we'll have guys probably like a Trent Swick next year, or maybe Trevor Connolly, right? Will come in, and maybe Holtz is like, okay, I'll play in the AHL in Vegas. I'd rather play the AHL in Henderson than, potentially be, I don't know, in take a deal in Pittsburgh. Calgary or Pittsburgh and they have to go play at fucking Wilkes Bar and shit like that, or play in some shit splat town. So, you might have guys coming back, and I think there's plenty of guys that'll stick around because I think Lachinsky's on a longer-term deal, right? It's more than a year.
I think so.
And so there's guys that'll be back, and they'll be up and down, but it's good to see how well they're playing, and then how well Lindblom and Schmidt are playing too.
Yeah.
They're just being, having good goaltending too. I think, there's a lot of potential in the future there. We'll obviously be tracking that potential playoff run.
Yeah.
We'll see. Quite the opposite situations, right? Fighting for a playoff.
One of them were like, well, come on, guys, stay in first, keep going. The other one were like, Come on, guys. Let's stave off mathematical elimination as long as we can.
Save off the post on our hockey of "We're fading the Sharks" logo off this. Join us.
Join us.
Yeah, but you got anything else you want to talk about, or anything you want to bring up?
St. Patrick's Day Festival is really fun. Parade's really fun.
Yeah, if you're in Henderson, check out the St. Patrick's Day festival still going on. Next year, check it out too, because it's going to be just as fun. It's a fun time. Happy St. Patrick's Day on Monday. Drink your body weight in
Irish beer.
Irish beer and whiskey.
Irish whiskey.
Make your blood pressure rise so high it's just like a thick clam chowder.
Just do what I did last night. Just lay in bed with your heart racing.
Think you're having a heart attack, but in reality, it's your stomach going, "Help me!" But until next week, we only have a couple games next week, so it'll be a truncated episode next week probably. Or if we lose those games, we're gonna be screaming into the void. And
It is happening again.
But until next time, stay gold and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Stay gold.